what did the people use something to cheat? I didn't use it, but
ChatGPT.
yeah, no, no,
They could use that now.
they can use it now. But I was thinking of I just had to tip my tongue. It's like the one that gave you all the homework answers.
Oh, Chegg.
Yeah, Chegg.
Yeah, dude. Actually, I would use the hell out of Chegg back in the day. I got a subscription. Me and my boys all like split it, and we'd have like 30 homework problems. And for the most part, we would like be truthful and like do what we needed to do. But the hard questions, the time-consuming ones, like we're hitting up Chegg, man. Welcome back to episode 6 of the Rome's Room podcast, where we're here to discuss everything from education, careers, and how ordinary people can do extraordinarily successful things. As always, I'm your host, Jerome, and welcome to my room. Quick reminder, you can catch this podcast on anywhere you get podcasts, so Apple, Spotify, CastBox, and right here on YouTube. So if you're not subscribed, make sure to subscribe and hit that notification bell. Today's co-host is an undergraduate engineer who never used his engineering degree, turned MBA graduate consultant who occasionally dabbles in the world of Apex Legends as well. Please welcome to the show, Matt Dell. What's up?
Thank you for having me, Jerome.
Hey, listen. First question that I've got for you. Are you related to Michael Dell, the founder of Dell Computers?
See, I always made that joke, and I had to learn who the owner was Dell was, so I could always make that joke when I was younger. But unfortunately, no.
Well, that's very unfortunate. No, I always like to start these off just like, on like a light note where I just ask people dumb questions. It would have been really cool if you were related to Michael Dell in some way.
That would be a fun fact that I would have dropped for you that you wouldn't have known.
Did you ever, as like a kid or whatever, like growing up or like college, high school, whatever, the 2 truths and a lie?
Yeah.
That should have been like your go-to lie.
It should have been. I don't remember what I said for those, to be honest with you. Like my running joke is like I get free branding on my computers.
That's true. You literally have a Dell computer right now.
Yeah, work. And my work computer is a Dell computer too.
Wait, your personal's a Dell too?
Yeah, it's that one right there.
This one?
Yeah.
Yikes. Why? Why not Mac?
Why would I want to deal with Apple OS?
You have an iPhone, don't you?
Yes.
Then everything everything meshes
I grew up on
together.
Windows, Word, Excel, everything like that.
I'll give you that. That's fair, but no.
PowerPoint, everything like that.
I'm a Mac boy. I will say Apple needs to get better at their like productivity software. Like
I hope so. My retirement's depending on it.
Yeah. Well, no, like numbers, pages, slides, whatever the PowerPoint version that they have is, they're garbage. They're all real bad.
Yeah. I've deleted those off my phone already.
I haven't used a like non-Microsoft productivity app. Well, okay, let me just start that over. What the fuck am I saying? I have tried to use the Apple productivity apps since like graduating college and not having a job for the last month, or my vacation for the last month, and it's like impossible. Like I try to get on numbers to do like Excel type stuff, and like formulas are like difficult.
You're better off doing Google Sheets.
Yeah, I completely agree. You might as well just use the Google stuff, and the Google stuff's also not good.
No.
So
No.
I don't know. Well, today we are in beautiful North Carolina, where you are kind of sort of born and raised.
Yep.
And so I've been kind of traveling all over the place for this. I've been in Knoxville. I've been in Chicago. Where else have I been? Well, I've been here. But anyway, you kind of grew up literally like right down the road in Cary.
Yeah, I mean, the farthest I've ever lived from home, this is going to sound like a homebody, but I'm not really a homebody. It's just a great area to live. The farthest I've ever lived from home is like 26, 27 miles, whatever it was when we were in Chapel Hill.
Really?
That's
from Cary. Okay, so
Yeah.
I didn't actually realize Cary's closer to Raleigh.
Yeah,
than Chapel
so
Hill.
from here to get to my apartment in Chapel Hill was like 45 minutes.
Okay.
Depends on traffic also too. So.
Okay. So were you like homeschooled or something?
No, I wasn't homeschooled. I had a good
I'm
childhood
just
experience.
asking. I'm just asking. One thing, I don't know a lot of facts about Cary, but one thing that I know about Cary is that there's like a ton of like Indian kids in that area, right? Or Indian families.
Yeah.
So kind of
It's a lot to do
bringing
with, like the tech and like the R&D. And
yeah,
everything that happens in
Research Triangle Park, right?
Yeah.
One thing that I've always wondered is, as like a white kid in that area, like growing
Yeah.
up around all that, do you feel like the Indian pressure of like, you know what I mean? Like in the Indian community, there's just like this huge pressure of like, there's this competitive nature amongst like kids.
Yeah.
Did you ever get like any of that bleed over into your life where you just felt like there was a lot of pressure to like do really well?
Well, it was more internally driven, and
Yeah.
like it was my parents being a little bit tougher on me, which like I didn't really understand at the time, but now I understand. But like it was more like internal driven. I wasn't really looking at other people and how they were doing because I
Yeah.
feel like envy is kind of like the end of like joy.
Yeah.
I think that's the saying. I can't remember what it is, but it's just like internally, like, how do I want to live my life? What do I enjoy doing? What do I not enjoy doing? And kind of like living by those principles.
Yeah. Well, what about like in terms of just academics in general? Like, you obviously did your undergrad degree in engineering, biomedical, right?
Yeah.
How did you get to that point? Like,
I mean, I can start from the beginning. I mean, I had.
all right, let's start with what did you make on your ACT?
I can't remember. Reading comprehension was not my strong suit.
Yeah, me
But
neither.
math kind of always carried me through, as you probably did as well with engineering.
Same.
But no, so I mean, I went high school, was three sport athlete, like did pretty good
Oh,
at
damn.
schools or grade
What was that?
wise.
Basketball, soccer?
No, it was soccer, football, and golf.
Oh, nice.
And my fun fact is I tackled a current NFL player,
Really? Who?
Naheem Hines.
Okay, I don't know who that
I'm
is.
not gonna.
I'm
I mean,
not
I can name drop him and
listen.
whatnot, but as the punter, he started returning one of my punts, and I tackled him on the one, and he fumbled the next play.
As in, like, you guys went to the same high school?
No,
Or you
no,
were, like, competing?
you competing teams. He was on another team, but
Damn,
that was my
that's
fun fact
really
that I was
cool.
using, like the two truths and a lie.
Yeah.
That's kind of the
Right.
truth that I would
No,
use.
honestly, that's kind of cool. That's super cool. I can't say that.
Yeah, and so from Cary, I went to NC State, and there's like the engineering program and like how it's set up is like you come in the first year and you don't know what you're doing, like you don't like have
Yeah.
like a set specialty of what you're going into, and then you do like a year like rotate around like see the different programs,
Right.
and then based on your freshman year GPA, you jump into like you apply to whatever the
Oh, interesting.
the engineering is. So I don't know if it was the same at Tennessee or not.
At UT, it's a little different. You didn't have to apply into the specific like program. I think I'm not 100% certain because I was like in the engineering school like from my freshman year.
Yeah.
I do think there is like an application process. Like when you apply from high school, you like also have to declare that you're going to be an engineering major, and then there's like an application process and like an acceptance process. But I don't think for the specific programs, it was just like you could be any engineer. So you're saying there was like a cutoff, like
No, so you got into the engineering school, like, well,
Yeah.
the way state works is very different from other schools, but like you apply directly to whatever college you're going into. So like I
Yes.
applied to the College of Engineering.
right? Okay,
It's different than the UNC undergrad. Is like you apply to UNC undergrad.
Exactly.
And then when you're
That's
in,
how
you try-
Tennessee is.
Yeah, right.
Yep.
So I applied to the engineering school, and it kind of just like gives you like a breakdown of like you can apply to the engineering school, you can apply to like the life sciences, you can apply to like the hard sciences,
Right, right.
across all that stuff, right? So I was in the engineering school first year, and they call it CODA is the name, but you based on like a certain set of classes that you take your freshman year, you get a GPA from those classes and then an overall GPA.
Okay.
And then from there you apply and you like give them three options and say like this, and this are like my top three options
Yeah.
ranked in this order, and then based on what your GPA is and like how you rank among your class, like that determines like if you get in or not get in
to a specific program.
to a specific like specialty, right? And like
Interesting.
I don't know. I never really thought about like if you don't get in the first time and you don't like choose one, can you ever go back or
Right,
anything like that? I have
right.
no idea. But
Well, I guess backing up a little bit, like NC State in general,
Yeah.
was that like kind of set in stone for you early on, or were you like wanting to go to other schools, or
actually,
like,
no, you don't know any of this, but I toured 35 schools.
holy shit?
I toured 35 schools. It's so like going back to the high school sports and stuff like that. But I was a kicker in high school, and so like
Okay.
probably not as good as I needed to be to play in college, but like
Mm-hmm.
me and my dad is kind of like a journey we did together. Like we'd always go to kicking camps and
Yeah.
then like also like go and like look at like a bunch of different schools. And
Yeah.
so like, I mean, I'm not gonna run through all 35, but like toured like East, West Coast, like Southwest, like
Like all over.
all over, right?
Yeah.
And so like whenever we went somewhere on vacation, I think this is a good tip for like people that are like a little bit younger, like not in college yet. If you
Yeah.
go on vacation somewhere, just like look and see like what colleges are around
Yeah.
and like just like go and try
Honestly,
it.
that's a really good idea.
Yeah.
I never did anything like that, but
That's how my sister ended up in Phoenix. Is like
Yeah.
we went on vacation for spring break out to Arizona, and she's like, I want to go tour the schools out here. And so she went and toured Arizona State, and that's where she ended up, and that's where she still is to this day. I think
Yeah.
she's been out there like
that's
6
a really
years.
good idea. That's actually a good tip.
I would definitely say that like if you go on vacation and you want to like live in the area or like go to school in the area of like where you're vacationing, I would definitely go and look at the different schools. Or like if you're going to see an aunt and uncle, like go see what the schools are around there. It
Yeah.
takes no time at all. There's always college
True.
tours going on and stuff like that. And so it's funny. I toured all those schools. I applied to 4.
Out of 35, you applied to 4.
I applied to 4. I applied to
What were the 4?
NC State, UNC, Georgia Tech, and South Carolina.
So pretty close, like in the southeast, this area.
Yeah, because I mean, my thing is like, and for me, and this kind of will be a theme as we talk more, but like,
Yeah.
try to listen to people that are older than me that have
Yeah.
gone through the experiences and like hear
Yep.
what they have to say. And it kind of ties into what we'll eventually, like how we met is like grad school, right? Like
Yeah.
I always figured grad school is always going to be an option for me,
Same.
or always going to be kind of the direction I was going to head, whatever it was, right? And so I was like, I'd rather pay less to go to an in-state school that it's like NC State, UNC, whatever
Yep.
it is, like all very good schools for whatever you want to do. Like go do that, save the money, and then spend a little bit to go to grad school and like
Yep.
set yourself up going forward. And as we'll hear, it got a little expedited, but I don't want to jump ahead of the story.
Yeah.
So
No, I'm curious about Georgia Tech because I also applied at Georgia Tech, and I think I might have talked about this on a different episode, but like my only reason for not going was money. Like I ended up getting into the school, but it's just way too expensive.
damn, smarter
Was
than
it-
I am. I didn't get
some-
in. I got waitlisted.
Really?
Yeah, I don't know if I ever got if the decision was yes or no because I accepted.
Because you accept somewhere else,
Yeah,
pulled your
and,
name out.
yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, I got waitlisted. Damn, Jerome,
Hey,
smart kid.
Listen, I got you. Hit me up if you want college advice. Just kidding. Don't.
ACT help right here. Reading
Yeah.
comprehension.
No, but I've heard that like NC State specifically is like a phenomenal engineering school. So if you can
Yeah.
get in at like the in-state tuition rate, it's like it's such a good value for the money.
Yeah, and I mean specifically for North Carolina, I don't know where your viewers are, but it's mandated the freshman class for any in-state North Carolina school, like NC State, UNC,
Yeah.
to be 82% in-state and 18% out of state. And so
Oh.
I don't know if those numbers have changed. That's how it was when I applied.
Interesting. I didn't even realize that was a mandate. I'm sure it's similar for Tennessee, but
Yeah.
I didn't realize that was a thing.
Yeah, I mean it's incredibly difficult to get in from out of state to Chapel Hill. But it's also way cheaper than all the schools up north, right? Like, and
Yeah.
it's also like you get the full college experience, right? And that's kind of what I wanted when I decided where I wanted to go to school. Is like, well, let me rewind really quick. I got in South Carolina and got some money there, but
Yep.
got in state and got in Carolina as well.
Yep.
It came down to the last minute to decide if I wanted to go to state or Carolina, and
Well, my understanding is Carolina's not that great of like an engineering school.
no, so the engineering is not. There's the biomedical. So my program that I was in that we'll get to was joint between UNC and NC State.
Oh, I didn't realize that.
Yeah,
Okay.
so like my diploma in there is like UNC and NC State. So like
Okay.
they have that, but besides that, they don't really have much engineering.
Right.
Not that it's not great, but they just don't have much.
Yeah. Yeah.
And so the way I think about it is like state has engineering, they have like the ag, they have like the hard sciences and just like other things like the engineering and agriculture stuff. And then UNC has like the professional things. So like the
Right.
lawyers, the doctors, the MBAs, things like
Yep.
that. So that's kind of in my mind how I was thinking
The
about
athletes that are fucking killing it all the time.
it. The athletes.
Yeah, the School of Champions or whatever.
Oh my god.
Matt hates UNC, by the way, for the people that are confused.
I am so we'll get to it, but I went to UNC for MBA school, and that's how I met Jerome. And I'm thankful for my opportunity at UNC and the people I met and everything like that. But UNC athletics are not my favorite.
Yeah, because they're always beating your ass, bro.
Do we need to talk about football? I know people in Chapel Hill don't really care about football, but
Listen, we're a basketball school. Same as soon as I found a school that was better than Tennessee at athletics, I just latched on and I was just like, I'll let it go.
it sounds like a bottom tier SEC school. But neither here
Okay,
nor
okay,
there.
relax.
Neither here nor there.
I would argue that 80% of my listeners are part of that bottom tier Tennessee school or my mom and her friends. So let's chill out. Okay. I want to go back to biomedical engineering for a second. So
Yeah.
did you know super early on that like that was what you wanted to do inside of engineering?
Well, so thinking about like this and like knowing that we were going to do this today, like I was just kind of like sitting there thinking about like my journey and everything like that,
Yeah.
kind of doing a little reflecting.
Yeah.
And No, I didn't. I didn't
Yeah.
know what I wanted to do, and like still, I don't know what I want to do. Like I'm
Right.
doing a job now that I enjoy, and I think there's a lot of good people around, and like MBA school is something that also like enjoyed. But I've never been the person that's like I want to do this. I'm going to do this. I've just kind of been like, I'll kind of go with the flow, kind
Yeah.
of like see what happens, like what I enjoy, like what am I doing right now. I think setting those goals and those targets, like of saying like I want to be like a CEO by the age of 35. I
Right.
think you're just kind of like setting yourself up for failure, and like you can make more attainable goals, but then what if another opportunity passes you by, right? Like it's
Right. Or
gonna,
you purposefully choose not to take an opportunity because
yeah,
you're trying to attain something else
yeah.
that
It's kind
may
of
be
just
out of
like
your
looking at
reach.
everything as like equal value,
Yeah.
saying like I look at all opportunities the same.
Yeah.
And then like if something seems like it's better than what I'm doing right now, like do your research on it, see if it's better, and if it actually turns out being better, then make the change.
Yeah. I think that's important for like people to hear, especially like younger people that are in high school or like early college age, because I think especially when I was at that age, like the misnomer is that you just assume that all adults know what they're doing and like they are
No.
straight line path on their career and like like they just know everything. But I'm sitting here 26, about to be 27 years old. I have no idea what's
No.
going on.
No. I mean, as you get older, you start to realize more things, and if you have that open mindset and just like are observative and like just like looking at it like a bunch of different things, you'll realize that people sometimes don't really know what they're talking about, but they're better at playing it off
Yeah,
than what
100%.
and like the imposter syndrome is real, right? Like I
100%.
don't know if you felt it at your old job, but
Um, yeah, no, I definitely did. There's a lot of, especially when you're in like a high functioning role or like high performing role, and you're just surrounded with like a bunch of MBA graduates or engineers or whatever it is. There's this feeling of like, oh man, everyone around me is so brilliant. Why am I here?
yeah.
But I mean, from like the employer perspective, obviously they also think you're brilliant, but sometimes it's hard to like, I don't know. Sometimes it's hard to feel that for yourself,
Yeah.
I guess.
Yeah. And I mean, I get that. And it's just like, I think when you start a new job or start something new, it's like the pace is fast and everyone else is
Yep.
already in their groove. And
Yep.
so it's just like, feels like you're taking on a bunch of water, but at the end of the day, like everyone's gone through it. They should expect you to
Yeah.
do the same as well. So
100%.
I don't know. At the end of the day, everyone's human. Everyone has
Yeah.
a family and everything like that. So like, I don't know.
Now, I want to get into how, because you're only a couple years behind me in school. You graduated undergrad in 2020.
Yeah.
And so 2020, we all know what happened.
So
COVID royally fucked you. Um, so remind me again though, were you one of those students that already had a job offer and then it got rescinded, or was it?
yeah. And anyone who's still in college that's listening to this, heed from my advice. Don't do as I say, not as I do.
Yeah.
So I kind of like pushed off getting a job for a while. Like I was kind of like in
Okay.
denial. I was like, I don't want school to end. I'd rather do something else,
Yeah.
blah, blah, blah. And so like while I was in school, and I would recommend this to anyone who's listening, who's in this position, if you're in school, definitely take if you want to go to grad school, definitely take like the GRE, GMAT, whatever
Yep.
like the equivalent test is while you're still in school, while you still have time. Because I have a coworker who I was talking to about some of this stuff, and he's trying to do a GMAT while also working, and like it's just like not working out
Yeah.
because like
It's hard.
it's hard to do both and like do both well, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so like you're not going to sacrifice your job for a test that might
Yeah.
help you in the future,
Right.
right?
And you just don't have that like muscle memory anymore.
Right.
Of
And
like
so
how to study and stuff. Yeah.
right. So I took the GRE before COVID hit, so like November of 2019.
Okay.
And so then 2020 came about, so I was like, all right, I guess I got to get a job because I haven't put any applications in and so on and so forth. But then I had a job offer and it wasn't a great job, I'm be honest with you. It was kind of just like a low level job, like entry level job,
Yeah.
just kind of not the best. And so then COVID happened and that was a small shop doing like
Was it an engineering role or was it something different?
it was kind of
Okay.
an engineering role. It wasn't like a true like design engineering role. It was more
Okay.
like software focused,
Okay.
which was not my favorite. And it's also good to identify like, what you don't like,
Yep.
and kind of like look for those roles, like if
Yeah.
you're looking for a new job. But I lost the job offer. It went away,
Yep.
right? So
As did for many people.
yes, as many people did. And so like I was kind of like I took the mentality of like, okay, like that's fine. Like I'm not gonna be stuck in my position. Like what's next?
Yep.
And so luckily, in the ignorance of what I had, I didn't realize like how long people worked before going to MBA school. And so I made a connection to UNC MBA junior year of college, like way before.
Yep.
And they basically told me to come back once I had work experience of like 3 to 4 years, whatever it was,
Yeah,
which is typical for an MBA.
I think so.
But then the person I connected with at UNC, she reached out to me and was like, "Hey, we're starting this new initiative for people who were affected by COVID or are going to be recent college graduates, 0 to 1 years of work experience, and like, we want to bring you guys in and call it like, I don't remember what it was called, like NC Next or something like that was the
Yeah,
name
Business
UNC
Next,
called
yep.
it, Business Next or whatever." And so it was an initiative that just like at perfect timing. So I applied, got in, and
Yeah.
ended up moving to Chapel Hill. So it's
Well,
just like all happened super quick.
this is where, in my opinion, where the story gets a little interesting because I want to get your opinion on this. My personal opinion was that they really screwed you guys. And let me explain. I think the school in bringing that initiative really screwed you guys. Not you specifically. I think you've been very successful, but that group of students, because when employers were coming and recruiting, and mind you, like I was also on the low side of experience.
Yeah.
I felt like a lot of recruiters told you guys that you're educationally overqualified because you have an MBA. You're like overqualified for like an entry level undergrad job,
Yeah.
but you're underexperienced from like a work perspective, and like of no fault of your own.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
you know,
It was a tricky situation, and it took a little bit of figuring out. But I would say most people in my position, I mean, there's a lot of like high caliber people.
Yeah.
They've figured it out, right?
Yep.
Like the catch-22 that Jerome's like hinting at is basically the big companies that you would like to recruit at, being at a top 20, 25 MBA school, wouldn't look at you. So
Yep.
I'm not drop names, but they couldn't look at you because you didn't have the work experience, the minimum threshold that they wanted. And so you had to like either keep pestering them, try to get a look, or try to get an interview, like try to impress them that way, or just like keep like working the edges and like seeing what else you could like find that would work out, right?
Smaller shops or
Right.
you know, not
so-
Fortune 100 companies or whatever.
Right. And so I actually, for internship, because like it was a 2 year program, you probably have talked about the program before, but you had an internship between the first and second year. And so I interned at a healthcare consulting company. And at that healthcare consulting company, I was not at the MBA level. I was a little bit below. And that's kind of just like what you had to accept. It was a high tier firm.
Right.
But then eventually, like when it came time to re-recruit again, I found the company that I'm at now, and they gave me that MBA level.
Yeah.
And I was able to stay in Raleigh.
But
stay
I
with my
think
family.
you were kind of an anomaly. I think a lot of people came in accepting a kind of in between, like, you know, call it, they started you off not at entry undergrad level, but like maybe like a 1 year in senior analyst or whatever.
Yeah. Especially in banking, like.
Especially in banking, that happened a lot. You started, which I think it's fair. I think there's an argument to be made.
Well, the way I've thought about it is, because I always try to put myself in someone else's shoes, like when they're having a conversation, or like try to like, why are they saying the things that they're doing, right?
Yep.
And from the business's perspective, I get it because they're taking a risk on someone that's never worked before.
Right. They don't know anything, and you don't know.
I mean, I had internships, but like an internship's completely different than like
Oh, it's so different.
dealing with the politics of an organization, like having like advocates, dealing with all that stuff, right? And it's like I get why they didn't want to take that jump, but like there was no guarantees of anything else, right? They're not going to guarantee you anything,
100%.
and so you just had to find the right fit.
Yep. And you're right. Internships are very different. Every internship I've ever had, looking back on the experience, they very much babied me.
Oh, I mean, my first internship back in undergrad was for the CFO of a company.
Yeah.
And he was on vacation the first week I started. The accounts payable, like, people had me doing paperwork. Like, not, like, writing paperwork or doing anything. Literally sorting paperwork. Like, doing...
What was your role? Like, what were you
my
supposed
role
to be doing?
So, I didn't know what I was supposed to be doing yet,
Yeah.
but... because it's my first week. But when he eventually came, basically what I did is I did some mapping for him, like organizational mapping. He's like, I'm the CFO. I want to know like more about what's going on in my organization that the reaches I can't reach.
So it was more of like a business role.
It was a business role. And so what I was going to say earlier, I never got it out, but when I decided state over UNC, it was either state for engineering or Carolina for business. So it kind of like all came back full circle to say like, because the way I thought about it is like I can do engineering first, and eventually I can transition to business if I want to.
Yeah.
But you can't go the other way. You can't do business undergrad and then try to go back
Yeah.
to engineering because you don't have that base.
Right. I do think some people try and some people are successful with it, whatever. But generally speaking, I would agree with you. It's a lot harder to go because there's just like a lot of fundamentals there.
Correct.
And I think that if you were to go the business to engineering route, you're almost better off going back and getting a second undergraduate degree.
Yes, because there is that base, right? Like the hard sciences, the math.
Yeah, and
the labs.
not saying that it's like impossible to do. It's just it's different from if you've done business all the way through. It's just different.
Yeah.
And you have to definitely go back. So.
And also the MBA, sorry to cut you
No,
off.
you're good.
The MBA helped me because I had the different backgrounds. I wasn't going from business undergrad to business grad school.
Yeah.
It was engineering into business. And like, to be honest with you, like I didn't know, like I knew what stock market was, but like I didn't know how to invest
Yeah.
or the principles of investing or anything like that
Completely
because
agree.
it was never talked about in engineering school. And like
Yeah.
I never had the money to do it before. And like now talking to a lot of successful people in business school, because I mean, at the end of the day, like, yes, you get an education, yes, you get a degree, but I think at the MBA school is you meet a lot of similar-minded people,
Yep.
and those similarly minded people you have a lot of frank conversations with, and that's where I did a lot of my learning.
Yeah.
Right? It's like learning from experiences of others.
Yeah. 100%. Because
What we're doing right now.
Right. I mean, I think that is super important. I think the engineering stuff, even though I personally never liked it as a career for myself, I think it taught me a lot about like critical thinking.
Yeah.
And, once you get into like business, like finance classes and whatever, I also did a business minor in undergrad. So I was like kind of sort of familiar. But
I did a business minor or an accounting minor that I took one class over the summer
Yeah.
for. My professor, God bless him, was a chain smoker. He would leave in the middle of the
my
test.
God.
And like people would just start cheating off each other. And like me, just like being the engineering student,
Dude,
I was like, I'm not
that's
gonna do
classic college.
But it was just
Classic
like
college
he like
story.
left in the middle of the test and would like go smoke cigarettes. And
Yeah.
he would like, what'd you do? What'd you do? And
Yeah.
then just like, and I was just like, sorry, it doesn't really it's not super applicable, but I just remember that story. And it's
No,
just like,
that's hilarious because I'm not gonna lie to you. That is a lot of what goes on in college. It's just like how do you play the game to do well and survive?
well, when I was in college, I don't know if you were around, but it was what did the people use something to cheat? I didn't use it, but
ChatGPT.
yeah, no, no,
They could use that now.
they can use it now. But I was thinking of I just had to tip my tongue. It's like the one that gave you all the homework answers.
Oh, Chegg.
Yeah, Chegg.
Yeah, dude. Actually, I would use the hell out of Chegg back in the day. I got a subscription. Me and my boys all like split it, and we'd have like 30 homework problems. And for the most part, we would like be truthful and like do what we needed to do. But the hard questions, the time-consuming ones, like we're hitting up Chegg, man. We're hitting up Chegg.
That's why he's a retired engineer.
Yeah, exactly. That's why I'm a retired engineer. But so at UNC in the MBA program, you kind of decided early on you were going to go into consulting.
Yeah, I mean that decision came about of like I didn't really know what I wanted to do.
Right.
And so I was like, okay, like what's problem solving, team oriented, like what's something that I can do, like where
Yeah.
I'm gonna feel a part of a team. Because I mean, growing up on sports teams, that's kind of where I felt at ease.
Yeah.
Is like in that team setting and like being very relationship based. And so consulting was kind of the thing that pointed me in that direction.
Now, walk me kind of through the consulting like recruitment process. And then I'd like to maybe get into maybe some of the similarities and differences between like consulting and investment banking.
Yeah. So my experience was a little bit different, but I can talk about it from like a broad
Yeah.
perspective, right? So I think investment banking went first.
Yep.
Like you guys
Timing wise, like it's like you start school and 3 days in you're in the room talking
Yeah.
to companies.
Yes, yes. With consulting, it was about like the November, December you start talking to people.
Okay.
And so, I mean, I don't remember all the dates together, but like you do the networking calls, you do the similar things that you do for investment banking. The big thing about interviewing for consulting firms is the case interviews.
Right.
So
That's the big
that's the
consulting
major
thing.
key. So, I mean, there's like major companies that are out there just to teach you how to case to get into consulting
Yeah.
firms, right? And so that takes a while. There's like
What is like a case study like interview? Like
so I'm trying to remember. I haven't done one in a while, but it's basically just like it puts you in a business scenario and asks you to think about like what would you do in this scenario? How would you think about it? How would you segment it? Which is like a big like way of consulting is like how would you compartmentalize or like bucket it is like the consulting
Yeah.
term. And so it's almost like speaking a different language because there's like a different flow and like rhythm to it where
Interesting.
it's
Okay.
like it starts off saying like you get a preamble of like this is your project, this is your background, so on and so forth. And from that you have to like discern like you can ask any like clarifying questions and then you have to come up with a framework of like okay, so like if company X is thinking about buying another company or if company X is launching a product, what are the three main things that you would look at? And like beyond those three things, like what are the things you would look at like underneath those same like
Yeah.
buckets, right? Like profit, revenue, cost, kind of like looking at the different things, right? Like I know those are all related, but
But it's like hypothetically, there shouldn't be a wrong answer.
there's not a wrong answer. Sometimes there's a right answer. Sometimes there's
Okay.
cases that get you into like what is the answer for like this mathematical problem, and
Yeah.
like sometimes there is that, but from the framework itself you just want to make sure the term is MISI, so mutually exclusive culminate or culminary like exhaustive.
Okay.
And so that's just like saying like if you do price here then you do like quantity here, just like make sure like the buckets are separate from each other, there's no bleed
Got it.
over,
Got it.
right? So like that's the principles that go with that. um, but yeah, I mean, like, there's not a wrong and a right answer, but there's a more correct and less correct answer. There's
Okay.
like a more complete picture, I guess you could say. Because what they're doing really is like they're trying to like see how you think
Yeah.
and
That's
see
what I was
if
about
like
to
you can
ask.
think on the fly.
Yeah. Is it like those like you know how in like engineering interviews, I'm sure they do this in other interviews too, but they ask you like those questions like how many ping pong balls can you use to fill up like an airplane? Is it
No.
that type of situation where it's like they just want to figure out how you think?
A lot of them, so especially in the healthcare consulting stuff, it would be like, okay, like how big is this patient population? And so you have to think about, okay, there's 300 million people in the US. There's if it's like a disease specifically for men or women, like okay, then it's half, and then you have to think about age ranges, and then you have to like talk out loud and like reason down to say like I think it's this number of people.
Yeah.
And then like you might be right, you might be wrong. Sometimes they give you a number like if you're a little bit wrong, but like there's never like a wrong answer with that stuff. It's like how are you going to like work your way down and like how
Yeah.
do you think about these problems?
No, that makes sense. I guess specifically in the consulting recruiting, did you feel like you had issues recruiting as like a business next
Yeah.
student?
Yeah. I
Yeah.
mean, there were specific companies that wouldn't talk to me. Like I
Yeah.
like you would reach out as much as you could, no responses back. And
Yep.
like even the companies that would talk to you wouldn't give you the MBA level or they didn't want to, right? And so it's kind of you just have to take what you get. And like
Right.
I'm happy where I ended up and like
Yeah, for sure.
the NBA, like I was talking about earlier, is like meeting a lot of great people, a lot of successful people,
Yeah.
a lot of people that are on the same trajectory you're on, and I think it was a good opportunity for me. I kind of missed the old the days we used to go play soccer on Hooker Field and
Dude,
whatnot.
oh man, I miss it so much. People, this is actually interesting because this is one of the questions that I like had written down. I feel like people don't give enough credit to like college slash just like student life and like how freeing it is.
Yeah.
Like there's so much stress that comes along with being an adult.
Yeah, I mean, I never really understood what people were saying
Yeah.
either, but it's just like as soon as you get a job, like if it's a demanding job, right? Like there's some jobs that like you have more
Yeah.
free time still, but if you get a demanding job, like coming out of an MBA school is typically
Yeah.
what you see. Free time just is gone.
It's gone and like we were talking about this a little last night where we were talking about kind of like the differences in like work-life balance between like consulting and investment banking but it's like okay, investment banking maybe you're going to stay up till like midnight 1 2 a.m. In consulting maybe you're going to stay up until like 10 11 12, but it's like say you get off of work at 11, what are you doing? Yeah, you've wasted, not wasted, but you've essentially wasted your entire day.
Yeah, there's something to be said about like kind of like cutting your like getting your like earning your stripes, I guess you could say,
I
right?
guess, dude. I
It's
hate that mindset
it's
though.
like earning the respect within the firm though. It's like you are a high
Yeah.
performer at your old job, right? Like we
Yeah.
talked about that earlier. Like once you're a high performer, you're gonna stay busy, but hopefully the firm recognizes that you are a high performer and then they reward you later on.
I agree, and I think most firms do. I think the kind of slippery slope that you end up in is sometimes the reward doesn't feel like a reward. Sometimes the reward is like, oh, we're going to put you on this really high profile deal
Yes.
or high
Yes.
profile project. And you're
Yes.
like, oh, okay, cool. You're rewarding my good work with more harder work.
Right. And so that's the kind of game you have to play and like there's a little bit of balance too. Like I mean, the investment banking hours were longer than what I
Yeah.
work, right? But what I'm gonna say is, you also have to enjoy yourself, like especially like when you're in your 20s, like we are. You have to like consulting pays well, investment banking pays well, right? And like if you save enough, and like my grandma always has a saying, it's not how much you make, it's how much you keep.
Yep.
And so if you keep enough and like live the lifestyle that you're comfortable in, but still have the ability to go buy and do things that
Yeah.
you enjoy and not have to think twice about it, like I feel like that's a peace of mind that's almost worth like
I
working.
I completely agree. Like, a lot of our classmates went on to do investment banking in New York City.
Yeah.
As like an MBA associate, you start off like, for the most part, across the board, all those big firms, you're starting off making 175 as an investment banking associate, right? But once you caveat that with in New York City,
Yeah.
you're spending a lot of that money in taxes, in just lifestyle, in student loans from your MBA program, and it quickly goes to zero.
Yes.
And you don't have any savings. I think you and I are lucky that we live in, or I did used to live in a lower cost city. I don't feel that way anymore. But so we were able to like save a lot.
Yeah.
So I think that is like very lucky, and honestly, one of the things that I think people should be considering when they're like looking at some of these
Yes,
jobs.
and that kind of gets me to the whole thing, and like this, this is gonna be a direct, like this is gonna be a diversion of what we're talking about. But the Great Migration, right? Like,
Yeah.
North Carolina, I think it's a great state, and there's people moving here from all over the place. Like I never
Yep.
said earlier, Cary was always the joke. Like growing up, it's the centralized area for relocated Yankees. Like, like my mom's from New York. They moved down in
Yeah.
like the 70s or 80s, right? Like, so like I could make that joke because I have family members that like
Yeah.
are Yankees,
Right. Right.
but it's like people, because it's a great area to live, and like the secret's out, right? Like you have a
Yeah.
great school system, a
100%.
great university system. So you have people moving down from New York who they had a house that was a decent enough house in New York, but like it sells for like twice as much as the same house would sell down
Dude.
here. So they
Yeah.
can upgrade, get a bigger house,
Right.
nicer, higher quality living. You just have to deal with all the humidity.
Yeah.
You just have to deal with the hot summers and humidity.
It's interesting that you bring that up because I actually have some stats on that in front of me right now. So we were talking earlier about kind of like the housing crisis. The average home price here in Raleigh specifically, 800,000 plus. It's the same where I'm in Arlington. 850,000 is the median home price. So
Median home price sold.
yes. And so it begs the question of like, what is the median home price in just the U.S. in general, right? And I've got the number for you. It's 425,000, which sounds ridiculously high to me. You look at that same number 5 years ago, and it's 293,000. It's gone up almost 8% a year for the last 5 years. And funny enough that you would say a lot of people are coming to North Carolina, the number 3 fastest growing sale price city is Fayetteville, North Carolina. Then you've got at number 5 Alexandria, which is right next to where I live. And then, funny enough, number 10 on the list was Knoxville, Tennessee. I'm from.
Number 10?
Yeah.
What has Knoxville got going on besides university?
Dude, honestly, I don't know. My assumption is a ton of people in the last several years, especially during COVID, moved to Nashville from, New York, California, all these like super expensive places. And I think it's one of two things. It's either the old like Nashville residents that are just getting sick of new people coming in that are like moving out but want to stay in the area, so they're going to Knoxville, which is like probably the second or third largest city in Tennessee, or it is those same people that are coming from California and New York that have just decided like, oh, Nashville's like either like
I've never
too
been to
touristy,
Nashville.
whatever.
How far is Nashville from the mountains?
So Knoxville is probably like an hour, and Nashville's 3 hours west of Knoxville. So probably like 4 hours.
Okay, gotcha.
Tennessee's a really long state,
Yeah.
so it's like hard to get to the mountains.
Skinny and long.
Yeah, it's like skinny and long. But anyway, dude, I love Knoxville. Every time I go back and visit now, I love it so much. Actually, we hung out in Knoxville like several months ago.
It was a year ago. It was actually 13 months ago.
This is actually a crazy story that we can spend a couple minutes on. Your aunt was inducted into the Women's Basketball Hall of Fame,
Yep.
which is crazy just to think about in general. But even crazier to me is that the Women's Basketball Hall of Fame is like housed in Knoxville.
Well, it's because of Pat Summit. I don't
Yeah,
know if
yeah,
you know.
yeah.
So that's the reason why it's there. But yeah, so really happy for my aunt. Congratulations. No, but that's why I was in Knoxville, right? Like I
Yeah.
didn't really have another reason to
But
go
that
to
was your first
Knoxville.
time there.
That was my first time there, and so then
And what'd
Jerome,
you think?
it was nice.
You're lying.
It
You're
was-
lying.
It was nice. I mean, like it was nice. Would I put roots down there? Probably not.
Okay, fair.
Not my spot, but
Don't forget, no state income tax.
so does Florida and Texas.
I mean, yes, but
And Washington? There's like 7 states that have no income tax.
yeah, there are a couple.
Yeah.
But would you pick Florida or Texas over Tennessee for any specific reason?
Yes.
Why?
Because you're landlocked in Tennessee.
Okay,
That's like
honestly, that's a very good point.
I'm making the commercial. The governor's gonna have to give me some money for this interview. But like North Carolina is like, from where we live in Raleigh, we can get to the beach in 2 hours or less.
So you're a beach boy is what you're saying.
Well, but then also the mountains are 4 hours away. So like you get the best of both worlds.
Okay.
And also a solid school system, and like when you put it all together, it's a solid
Yeah,
place to
but
live.
dude, Tennessee, like, do you love country music?
Yeah, I can listen to the same country music on my phone here.
I don't. I hate country music so much. No, I don't know. I go back to Knoxville a lot now, and every time I visit, I love it so much. Like the city as a whole is like
it definitely
growing
was
so
quaint
much.
and it grows on you and everything like that.
Damn, that hurts, bro.
What do you mean?
Quaint. Damn, that's my house. That's my.
I don't know where is it.
That's my.
I know you
that's
live
my
in Knoxville. I
motherland.
mean, like Knoxville's to me was a university town, so it's
Yeah.
like bigger than Chapel Hill,
Yep.
but it's still the university town.
I would generally speaking agree. I didn't really know much about Knoxville like growing up because I lived in like a little suburb just 25 minutes out called Maryville.
Yeah.
And like I don't know, growing up in Maryville, you just think that going to Knoxville is such a trek that you never go out there. Then going to the University of Tennessee in Knoxville, you're like so confined to the campus, you know. You didn't really explore like Knoxville for what it actually can offer.
Yeah.
So then leaving Knoxville, come to Durham, Chapel Hill, Raleigh area, right? And it felt like
The Triangle.
the Triangle felt like the largest city I've ever lived in my entire life. Then from there I moved to Richmond. Now all of a sudden Richmond felt like the biggest city that I've ever lived in.
Richmond feels bigger than here?
Well, bigger than Chapel Hill for sure.
Yes.
I would say Richmond felt bigger. I didn't spend a lot of time in Raleigh when we were here. I spent a lot of time in Durham. It feels bigger than Durham to me. I think actually population's less. It feels bigger because there's a lot of like high-rise, like skyscraper type buildings, which makes it feel like more of a city.
Yeah.
Now I'm in Arlington, which by far is the biggest city that I've ever lived in. It's 15 minutes. I live literally 15 minutes from DC.
Yeah.
So it's like by far the biggest ever. But going back to Knoxville gives me always like this sense of like comfort and like
It's home.
Yeah,
Right? It's
exactly.
home, right? Like
that's what it comes down to.
yeah.
And I'm sure like that's similar for you. If you were to ever leave Raleigh, like I'm sure coming back home is like very nostalgic and like you would love it.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of people that I went to high school with or college with ended up in Charlotte. Like Charlotte's the new hot spot for a lot of people to go to, and Charlotte's a great city. But I mean, who knows? Maybe I'll live there one day. But I don't know. Raleigh kind of feels like home. It's got a lot of good different stuff going on down here.
Yeah, dude. We went to that soccer tournament in Charlotte that we played in together. The NBA tournament, we got absolutely thrashed. But
we thrashed. We beat.
We won the one game that mattered. We beat Duke. We beat Duke. But
I got a cleat to the eye. I don't know if you remember that.
I do remember that. You got stomped in the face. Well, kicked in the face, but I do remember that.
Well, do you remember? All the other teams were international. And
yeah, they were fully international teams. Who else did we lose to? We lost to Harvard and Columbia.
Yeah. Remember the Colombian guys like ran over Jamie, the girl on our team? Like, the girl on our team is like 5 foot tall, and like this dude just like ran
just like form tackled her essentially.
Didn't feel bad at all.
Yeah,
it was.
Dude, that was crazy.
If that's what Columbia Business School is like, I don't need to go.
Listen, and we had like a good team.
Yeah,
we hadn't played together that much, but
no, I mean, we had
team.
like college athletes, college soccer players.
Yeah.
Current and former.
Yeah, I mean, okay, well, don't say that. But no, that was a very fun trip. I enjoyed. That was probably my second or third time in Charlotte,
Yeah.
but like my first time really like exploring Charlotte.
Yeah.
And that was so much fun. We went to that one nightclub, the Roxbury or whatever. They were like playing like 70s, 80s music. We got you to dance, and you're like
No.
notorious for not dancing.
No, I didn't dance. I was thinking
Kinda, a
about
little bit.
Josh. Josh was dancing.
Oh man, yeah. We had a classmate whose name was Josh. He was significantly older than us, probably, if I had to guess, somewhere between 33 and 35.
He has kids at home.
Yep, 2 kids at home. It doesn't drink.
No.
Doesn't do anything, but he was having the best time. Got in a dance battle. Oh man, that was so funny. That was a really fun weekend. I had a lot of fun.
Yeah, and then you snaked me. I shared a bed with him. We were the 2 biggest guys.
Okay, listen, that's not my fault. I booked the hotel.
What do you mean? I could have slept with you. You decided to pick Ro.
Yeah, because he's little. And I'm little.
You hear
so
that,
we
Ro?
both.
You hear that, Ro? He's calling you little.
No. Ro, I'm not calling you little. I'm just
That's
saying
what
we
you
were
said.
both very comfortable because we were in a large bed and we're both small individuals. I think that's a fair argument.
Bro, he's telling you hit the weight room.
Well, anyway, I think conversations like this are important because another thing that I've realized as an adult is people don't give a fuck about talking about their finances.
Yeah.
And as a kid, like growing up, you were always told like.
I would say that. Sorry, I don't mean
No,
to
go
cut you
ahead.
off. I don't think they don't care. I think it's they are too anxious to talk about it, or they don't know to talk about it.
Yeah, and I feel like as someone who wants to learn more about people's finances and how they got there and whatnot.
Yeah.
As a young child, young adult, you're always taught that it's like taboo, like not to ask people about their finances and stuff.
Yeah.
What I've learned in my professional career is, at my last firm, I would talk to like VPs, directors, MDs that I would straight up ask, hey, what is your salary? What can I expect when I get to your level?
Yeah.
And everyone was so open.
Yes.
They would just be like, I make this much money. This is what I get as my bonus. This is how I bought my Mercedes G-Wagon. Like people, one, like to talk about it because they like to brag about themselves.
Yes.
And 2, I think for the most part, people genuinely want to help the next generation.
Yeah, but I say like, what I would say is like you have to also know the time and place. Like I would like first day on the job. Hey,
No.
boss, how much do you make?
No.
Like you need to cultivate that relationship and like have that relationship and that trust.
For sure.
And like also like don't be spreading like stuff like that. 'Cause
Yeah,
then that's how you
it
get
needs to
trouble
be a one-on-one or one-on-two type conversation, maybe over lunch or over like a dinner. Once you get to that level,
Yeah. And like I think I have those conversations with like you or like people our age too, right? Like we have those conversations of like, this is what I'm doing, this is how I'm thinking about stuff.
Yeah.
And like, well, this is how I'm thinking about things, like this is what I'm doing. Like we have a friend Tom who he hustles. He hustles really hard and like has a lot of like hard investments, meaning like real estate and things like that.
Speaking about the housing market.
Yeah. So Tom's really done well for himself, and it's interesting to hear his take versus like my dad's take versus like your take versus
Because everyone's
like Dalton's take.
opinions are based off of their experience.
Yeah.
Right. And
well, there's no one right way to make money.
No,
either.
100% not.
There's plenty of ways to make money, and like the past 5 weeks I've traveled to a bunch of different places, like for work, for pleasure, for other kinds of work. Like I was in Kiowa, I was in New York, and I was like out in Colorado, right? And like just going there, it shows you like how much money is out there, and like all those people have like been super successful. But I think those people have had the conversations that we had last night, and like the conversations we've had in the past, too, right? Like it's not a secret. Like there's no secret to getting rich.
The big thing is like you don't know what you don't know.
Right.
And until you start having those conversations with those people, you don't know how those people have become so rich. I'm sure a lot of it is like opportunity based.
Yeah.
A lot of right time at the right right place at the right time.
Yeah.
There's a lot of that too. But there is certain things that you as an individual can do to make your own personal financial situation better that you just don't know.
Yeah, there's tools all over the place, right?
Yeah.
Like, I mean, I didn't know much about the stock market before I joined grad school, and like, just happened to room with someone who was an assistant to a financial wealth advisor. So
Exactly. And like he's doing well for himself, and like I love talking to you, to our other MBA friends, or just my friends in general about like, hey, what are you guys doing to save money? Like, should I be putting my money in like a CD or in this like stock that I'm looking at? Or, just random things like that. Should I buy a house right now?
Or it's just like going past that, like before that, it's like what account should I be in, right? Like, like a Roth IRA, right? Like it's one of the strongest investing tools you have. right? Like you can put in money and it grows tax free, and then at the end,
Yeah.
like 59 and a half, you have a ton of money, right? Like you put in like I think it's $6,500 now. So and I actually had a conversation with my boss, and I always go back to this whenever I talk about finance. You know what the best decade is to start saving or start investing?
In history,
No, like in your life,
it's got to be like right now.
in your 20s. Do you know the second best time in your life is to start investing?
I would assume your 30s, just whatever is earliest.
Yes, yes, right. Because like if you can go and like look at the research and everything like that, it's kind of like damning to see like
Yeah.
how like interest in like rate of return just like takes off in the
Yep.
last 10 years if you start earlier, right?
Yeah, and that's what my financial advisor always tells me too. Is he's always just like, because I'm that engineering brain always kicks in of like, how can I get the extra 0.1%,
Yeah.
But he's always like, don't look at the strategy. Like the strategy doesn't matter. Throw that out the window. The specific stock doesn't matter. Throw that out the window.
Yeah.
Just you need to get your money in the market now.
Yes.
And keep doing it every week for the rest of the next 40 years, and you're gonna be good.
Yeah, the dollar cost averaging. And so
Yes.
I also live by that, right? Like I put in a number of money or amount of money per week and comes out to amount of money per month. But like that also ties back into budgeting, right? Like when you're making X amount of money, you also have to like cover like I know people play or say the 50-30-20 rule. It's like 50% needs.
Yeah.
I don't remember.
30 like
30 wants or
yeah,
like,
something like that.
and then 20% savings and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you can be as aggressive or not as aggressive as you want. Like when it comes to investing, I've taken the path of being somewhat aggressive because I have seen those stats of saying like, I mean, I don't have any kids, I don't have any dependents right now, so trying to build I guess you can call it the lump sum earlier in my career because like I have seen those graphs to say like what interest does and like I mean I've only been investing heavily for about a year now, but I've seen like the interest start going. Like we've had a good market recently, but
I mean, even right now is like, we as young people, mid 20s, we have the opportunity to save the most money we're ever going to be able to save.
Yes.
Once you start having kids and whatnot, like expenses just run away from you. Once you buy a house, expenses run away from
and
you.
there's sacrifices to be made, right?
Yeah.
Like I still have the same car that I had when I was 16.
Yeah.
Right? Like and it's not a very nice car, but it's like it runs well. I don't drive a ton because I work from home.
And you don't have a $600 per month payment.
Right. And like if I was going to go buy a car, like I mean interest rates are crazy these days, like
Yeah, it's
7%.
insane.
Like it's impossible to buy a home and
Right.
like impossible to like rationally buy a car, right? Because there's also supply chain issues and everything like that. But like that $600 I can invest every month.
Right. I truly, going back to the housing conversation for a second, I truly have no idea how I'm going to afford a house
Well,
if I don't like move to a cheaper city.
I'm hoping, I think so. I have a couple theories. I don't really know anything. I'm kind of just talking to talk. But housing prices, I don't know if that's related to the increase in dual house incomes instead of like the traditional families of one person works, the other person takes care of the home.
I think that's probably true to an extent.
Right? So now that there's two people working in the home, like you have like hypothetically double the salary to go buy the house, right? So
I think that's probably true to an extent.
Yeah.
My problem is housing prices skyrocketed during COVID and all that stuff, right?
Yeah.
I think it is reasonable to assume that prices will stagnate for the next several years, but I don't think they're going to go backwards.
No.
You know what I mean?
They saw
like
we
look at
weren't
rentals.
old enough to remember, but like '08 it did. But that's because like there was a recession, right? So like if there's an impending recession, people lose their jobs, they can't afford their mortgages.
But by how much? They're not going to drop back to what they were.
No. It's like restaurants these days. Like grocery prices are going down because like there's competition, but like restaurants are still going to keep their prices high.
Yeah, because they're able to charge that and people will pay it.
Yeah.
People, once you get used to it, once you get in a habit of paying that much for something, you don't think twice about it.
I remember like every time I would eat out, I was like try to keep it like $10.
Yeah.
And now it's like
you can't do that.
try to keep it like $20 now.
Yes.
Chipotle is the only place where you can keep it under.
Right.
10.
We literally went and got lunch today, and we both got essentially like a Chipotle type of meal, and $16 easy. You know, for lunch. It's wild, and that is why I always am wondering like. My apartment in Arlington costs me $2,900 a month for a 700 square foot apartment. And I am like, I know not everyone in Arlington is an investment banker or lawyer or doctor or whatever. How the fuck are people affording this?
Because you're staying in a new building.
Well, okay, don't tell them that. Don't tell them that. I am staying in a brand new building. I'm the first one to live there. It's very nice. I'm 2 blocks from downtown.
So when you're an investment banker and you're working in a corp dev role now, like you can have the luxuries of life. Like me.
Okay.
No, I'm just messing with it. I mean, like everyone can afford like as long as you like so you pay that much in rent, but like also like you're not gonna go out and like spend all this money and like waste all this money on other stuff. Like treat yourself, right? Like
Yeah.
I'm not telling you like the Dave Ramsey way of like you have to live like
Right.
on like Cheerios and like oatmeal and everything like that and like do this way or else you're gonna be poor or whatever
Yeah.
like that. Enjoy yourself, but also like make sure that you're planning for the future because if you don't, who is?
Yeah. 100%.
Right? Like I don't know, just like looking at like older grandparents, like I have grandparents that are like 92, 93, like they're in a retirement home and they need a lot of help. If they didn't have the money that they saved up throughout their lives,
Right.
they wouldn't have someone there to help them. Like
Yeah.
it would have to be my family and then that would take away from our jobs and
Yeah,
everything
yeah,
like that, right? So like I see that in the long run you need the stack of cash to
Right.
like help you with family stuff, with
Yep.
new toys you want to buy, like trips you want to do, right? So
No, I completely agree. This is my favorite part of the show, where we get to get silly in the room. I'm still working on the name of this segment
get silly in the room.
because it's Rome's room. This is my room, so we're gonna get silly in the room.
Rome's.
Anyway, don't think about the name. It's still a work in progress.
Put it in the comments if you have any names that
Yeah. No, we
adjust
need
it on
we
because
need
we're
some
engineers.
suggestions.
We don't really have like creative.
Not creative. I've got let's say 3 specific things that I want to do with you.
minds. Okay.
First question. This is an easy one. Is it easier, or which would you rather do? Is it easier for you to hit a pitch from a professional pitcher in the MLB, or score a point on a pro tennis player?
See, we talked about this earlier.
Djokovic. I'm bringing it back because I specifically told you, no, let's not answer that. You think about your answer. I'll ask you on the pod.
So my answer would be to hit a baseball.
Dude, you're crazy.
How am I crazy?
No, they're throwing that thing like 100 miles an hour. There's no way you're
But
touching it.
you know where it's coming.
You don't though.
You do.
You
There's
have
a
to go
box
in
in front of. There is a box in front of you.
Yes,
There's a like you know it's going to be somewhere between here and
but
here.
that shit's going like this.
What do you think a tennis ball's doing?
But here's my thing.
And the tennis ball's coming at you 130 miles an hour on a serve.
I didn't
Like,
think
yes,
about
you
the
have a
serve.
bigger face on the tennis racket. Like, that's the point I was thinking about,
Yes,
right?
yes.
But you're not going to be able to hit that ball hard enough back to them if you can hit it back to them where they're not going to just, like, beat you with one hit back.
I guess that's true. No.
Because
Okay,
I can sit
here's
there
my
and
argument.
swing 1,000 times, and maybe I might get lucky. And, like, yes, there's fielders and everything like that. But if I hit a 100-mile-an-hour pitch, it's going somewhere where no one's going to catch it.
Here is my argument. I can't hit a baseball when it's still standing on a tee.
All right, so we can have coordination class for you next week. We'll just like
Okay, a tennis serve. Now, is it coming from like Novak Djokovic?
it's a professional tennis player. It's going to be coming at 120, 130 miles an hour.
Can I get someone that's like no longer competing? Like I don't know, like someone that's out of their prime, like Nadal.
He's still going to hit it like 110, 120.
I
mean,
think
like,
if I
then-
stood
then
there,
I could say like, can I like get a retired baseball pitcher that's 80 years old?
You're right. That's a bad argument. Novak Djokovic versus the only baseball player I know, Shohei Ohtani. Is he? I don't think he's a pitcher, but he can
He
throw
is.
a ball.
He
is.
He's a pitcher and a hitter. He's like
Okay.
breaking records.
So I think if Djokovic were to hit a ball, right? I agree with 130 miles an hour. I agree with you. It's going to be
With
hard.
spin. It's not
But
just straight line. It's
if I
spin.
hold the racket in just front of my face like this and just guess, like it was a PK in soccer, and I'm just guessing like the goalkeeper, I think I could hit it.
Yes, but then you're not getting it over the net. You have to hit it.
I have to win the point?
You're not. Yes, you have to win the point. You asked the question.
Yeah, you're right. I did ask the question. Let me see.
You have to win the point. It's not you're returning a serve. You have to win a point. So it's not just you have to return it. Like
Bro,
that's
I
the
don't think I
first
can do either of these.
No, you can't do either.
I think I could score a goal on a professional soccer goalkeeper.
How close are you?
PK. I think I could
Of
score.
course.
I think I could. Give me.
But I've seen you shoot the ball before. Like you're a true defender. not like a defender of like Johnny. I guess he's episode 5. Johnny could lace the ball.
Yeah. Yeah. What are you trying to say here, bro?
But you could dribble. You could dribble.
I can dribble.
But you're like, if we were in FIFA, your shooting stats would be like 22.
God damn. Okay.
I mean,
You
your speed would be like 89.
Okay. I'll
Your
take
passing would be like 75. Shooting would be 22. Physicality, short stature, but you're going to win tackles. So I'd give you like a 70.
Okay. Thank you. I appreciate
Defense, I'm going to give you like a 95.
Damn.
You got the daddy
Honestly,
long
this got
legs.
better. I'm fine with it. I'm fine with the bad shooting.
And then
I think give me 100 tries on a professional goalkeeper on a Hugo Lloris. Well, he's a little old, but on a professional goalkeeper.
Yeah.
I think out of 100 tries on a moving ball, I'm dribbling, I'm hitting the ball.
Oh, you're moving. It's not a PK.
Not a PK. I'm dribbling. I'm hitting it outside the 18. Out of 100 shots, I think I can make one.
Yes, of course. You'll get lucky one time. You'll eventually hit it in the right spot.
Okay, that's all I need. That's all I need.
give you
I could
that.
do that. Out of 100 tries, don't think I could hit a professional baseball pitch. Out of 100 tries, I don't think I could win a point against Novak Djokovic.
If
That's what I'm
we have
saying.
any baseball fans, they're going to hate me for this, but I think I could get one hit out of 100.
On Shohei Ohtani,
One hit out of 100.
damn. We should try this. Next episode that you're on, we should get a pitching. We should go to a baseball like pitching cage
Yeah,
and see if either of us can hit a baseball.
100%.
Damn, 100%. Okay. The next thing I have for you, how closely do you follow the rap game?
Old school rap game, I was into it, but as I've gotten older, I've grown out of it.
Okay, who are your favorite old school rappers?
Well, it's not like old school like Tupac and all them. Like
Okay.
I'm talking about like when we were like
2000s.
middle school. Like
Okay,
I would say Drake. Always
Okay,
gotta love
classic.
Wayne. Always gotta love Wayne.
Wayne,
Meek
classic.
Mill.
Okay,
So
so you know some.
I was pretty mainstream. Like I do know rap, right?
So I want to play a little game. Rapper names, are they real or are they fake?
All right.
Okay, I'm gonna give you a warning. These are ridiculous.
All right.
Okay,
We'll hear it.
I just want you to tell me, is it real or is it
How
fake?
many are you gonna ask me?
I've got as many as you want. I'll let's say 5 of each is what I'm gonna throw in
Okay,
there.
so 10 total.
Yeah.
All right. I bet I can get 8.
Okay. All right, first one. Lil House Phone.
No way.
That is a real rap name. Lil House Phone. Okay, next one. Lil Caesar's Pizza.
No.
Okay, you got that one correct. That one's not real. That one's not real. All right, another one for you. Young Trust Fund.
Yeah.
That's real?
That's definitely
That's
real.
not real.
Oh my god.
You're 1 and 2. You're 1 and 2. Okay, another one. Winston Churchill.
No.
Okay, you got that one right. You're 2 and 2. Also, that's a crazy name. If that's not claimed, someone should take that rap name. Winston Churchill?
Bro, people don't know these days who
Dude,
Winston Churchill actually
That's
was.
yeah, but that's just a good name. All right, I got another one for you. Blaze Ya Dead Homie.
No shot.
It's real. Oh my god, it's real.
Well, I suck. I'm already.
You're 2 and 3. You could still get 7. Spider Mane.
No.
Okay, that one's correct. So you're 3 and 3.
Yeah.
All right, you're doing decently okay.
Before you even say it, real.
It is real.
What
it
was
was
it?
A to the D, the Renegade.
Oh my god. See, you already started
Dude,
laughing, so I knew it had to
Some
be
of these
real.
are crazy, bro. Okay. So you're 3 and 4.
No, 4 and 3.
Yeah, correct.
Don't short me.
Correct.
Don't
Sorry.
short me.
You're 4 and 3. Po White Trash.
That's real.
That's real.
Yeah.
That's real. Po White Trash.
Hey, my hands are here. I'm not looking anything up.
All right, 5 and 3. All right. Dell the Funky Homo Sapien.
No, that's fake.
It's real. It's real. Dell the Funky Homo
He
Sapien.
must be my cousin or something.
Okay, so you are 5-4.
Yeah.
Last one. DJ Young educated but unemployed.
No, that's not real.
That's correct. Congratulations, Matt Dell. You were 5-5, which honestly is
No,
pretty
6
impressive.
and 4. Come on.
Oh, you're right. I apologize. We'll watch the playback.
I don't think
but
I
it's 6
think
and 4.
Jerome's lying to you. I don't think he went to engineering school because he doesn't know how to count.
It is 6-4. 6-4. Congratulations, you did better than what I expected.
Thank you.
But you did not do as well as you thought.
No.
Let me read off some of these other ones that are real. Little Scrappy,
Yeah.
Little Toenail, Little Waterbed. This one's actually pretty famous. I would think that you had maybe heard of this one. Young Gravy.
Yeah.
Devin the Dude, Bus Driver, Journalist 103, Tum Tum, Sweatshop Union, Pudgy the Fat Bastard. Crazy, dude. Some of these are just... Here are some of the other fake ones that I did not come up with. I found all of these on the internet.
Yeah.
Some of the fake ones were Little Italy, Gmail, AK-69. That one sounds real though. That one,
that could be like 6'9" or
yeah. Young Adult Fiction. I love this one. Stacy's Dad. Cyberbully, and the last one, Father Time.
Father Time.
Some of these sound real, bro.
Father Time sounded real.
All right, one last game that we're gonna play. I'm gonna send you this link. Are you smarter than a fifth grader? I feel like as the resident engineers on the show so far, we gotta prove that we got something to prove here. We gotta prove that engineers are smart. Okay, because I feel like the classic trope is engineers carry themselves at a better than others type of standard, and the others tend to tell us we're not as smart as we think we are.
Yeah.
So we got to prove that we are in fact smarter than a fifth grader.
All right.
I sent you the list. Let's do. We'll go back and forth, and we'll do 10 questions.
Okay.
And
don't be cheating over there.
I won't be cheating, but I'm gonna read off my questions and
What numbers are you gonna
let's
do?
go back and forth.
Do you want me to start with 1?
Yeah. No. We can just pick random ones. Because
Alright,
there's like
pick
100
random
on this list.
All right.
Okay, I'll go first. I'll start you off with an easy one. Who invented the light bulb?
Edison. Thomas Edison. Albert Einstein.
It was Thomas Edison.
Yeah.
You got it correct.
You looked at
All
me
right.
funky.
No. You got that one right.
All right, here you go. What planet in our solar system is known for its beautiful rings?
Saturn. Easy.
All right.
Easy, bro. These are going to get harder, I think. Okay. Who painted the Mona Lisa?
Da Vinci.
Wow. Okay. So far, smarter than a fifth grader?
All right. Which continent is the least populated?
Which continent is the least populated? Antarctica.
Yes.
Easy, bro. 2 and 2. We might have to keep going until someone misses one. Whoa, some of these are crazy hard, so I'm not going to go for those.
No, some of them are hard.
Who was president of the United States before George W. Bush?
Clinton.
That's correct. Okay.
What ancient civilization built the Machu Picchu complex in Peru?
That would be... Ooh, hold on. I'm going to walk you through my thought process here. There's 2 that come to mind, the Mayans or the Aztecs. I believe it was the Aztecs.
No, that's in Mexico.
Fuck!
It's the Incans.
I wasn't even close.
The Incans.
God damn it. Okay, so you've got 3 right. I've got 2 right.
Yes.
All right. Let's crank this up.
Oh, he's asking the hard ones now.
How many inches are there in 2 yards?
32.
Honestly, I shouldn't have asked the math questions. Math is too easy.
Math question.
All right.
Let's see. What is the largest and deepest ocean in the world?
The largest and deepest ocean. Okay.
It's the same one.
Right. The largest, again, I'm just talking out loud here, not my final answer. I would say the 2 largest oceans are either the Atlantic or Pacific. And I think the Pacific is larger. I know nothing about depth, but I'm going to go Pacific.
That's correct.
Okay, let's go. All right, I'm scrolling way down here. What was the name of the last Queen of France?
So I saw this scrolling through. There's
Okay. New
Marie
question.
Antoinette.
New question. Thanks for being honest. New question. Science question. What are the 3 types of rock?
It was sediment. Ignorate. It was like the one pot made from
You're
lava.
so close.
It starts with ig.
Yep.
Ignite? No, not ignite. Sedimentary.
Yep. That's one. I'm gonna give it to you. It was igneous.
Igneous.
But you kind of knew it, so
Yeah.
I'll give it to you. What's the last
So
one?
it's sediment, igneous.
Did you just say ignorous? Igneous. You
Igneous.
ignoramus.
Igneous.
All right, last one.
The last one is.
Come on, bro. You got to be a geologist here.
Oh, God. So it's not made from lava and it's not made from sediment. It would have to be. I don't remember.
What does a butterfly do when it turns into a butterfly from a caterpillar?
It evolves.
Like a Pokemon? Metamorphosis?
Oh, yeah.
Metamorphic?
I don't remember.
I'm not going to give you that one. So you've got 4. If I get this one right, we're tied. You better not pick like a stupid hard one just to win. Because I feel like we got to keep going. Uh-oh.
Oh, here we go.
All right.
In English, lice is plural word of what?
Okay. 2 places my brain immediately goes. Like the plural of mice is mice. So wait, what? Mouse is mice. But like you know how like fish and fish and like moose and moose?
Yeah.
So it makes me kind of think that the singular of lice is also lice. But then the second thought that I had is maybe it's just lie. But lie is like a solution, right? Like it's like a base.
Yeah.
Like so I'm gonna say the singular of lice is lice.
No, it's louse.
You're joking. What the fuck is a louse?
It's like mice and mouse. So you were close.
Is this a prank? Is this a joke?
It's not.
Like when you have lice in your head, is that what they're talking about?
Yeah.
A singular lice is called a louse?
No, a singular louse is called a louse. But a singular bug from lice is louse. That's
stupid. You didn't know that. All right, I'm gonna keep going. Let's do 2 more each. I'm down by 1 right now. In what U.S. city do the Allegheny and whoa, I can't even say these words.
Allegheny?
Oh, you might know this. Allegheny and Monongahela rivers meet and form the Ohio River.
So I know the Allegheny goes through Pennsylvania, and it goes through the western part of Pennsylvania.
I need a city.
Pittsburgh.
God damn it, dude. Yes, that's correct.
I told you can't mess with me in geography.
Ugh. Yeah.
I'll throw you a lob because
you want this to keep going.
I just want this to keep going. What is the area of a right triangle with a height of 4 and a width of 4?
The area of a right triangle. Okay, so that's 1/2 height times width. So area or height is 4, you said. Width is 4. That's 16. 1/2, 8.
You're welcome.
Thanks. Probably took way too long to get there.
That's my assist of the day.
Probably took way too long to get there, but we got there. All right, I'm picking randomly. In the initials of the federal agency known as NASA, what does the first A stand for?
Aeronautic.
How did you know that?
Because
Dude, 5th graders don't know this. I'm convinced. 5th graders do not know this.
I know a bunch of different stuff.
That's wild.
To
Okay.
Stay in the game.
All right, ask me the hardest question that you have, and let's just knock me off.
It's not that hard. I mean, I want to give you one that you want me to just.
That I could potentially get?
Yeah.
Like, give me a chance, but hard?
Yes.
Okay.
Well, yeah, I'm gonna need all the significant figures on this.
Okay.
1 inch is equal to how many centimeters?
2.54.
Yes. He's not dead and gone yet.
True or false, the platypus is a mammal?
Barry the platypus. True.
That is correct. That is correct.
Oh, this is gonna be the final kill.
Is this the finale?
This is the
Go for it. I'm going to prove you wrong.
In this sentence, Sally is a very good person. What part of the speech is the word very?
Sally is a very good person. So Sally is a noun. Person is a noun. Good is an adjective describing person. Very is an adjective describing good. An adjective that describes an adjective. Wait, I don't know if I'm even thinking about this right, but isn't that like a ad hominem or something? Hold on. That's not my final answer.
The death of all engineers. I can put my phone down. It's the death of all engineers.
Is this a gerund? No, a gerund ends in ing.
I'm not gonna react. You just need to tell me what your final answer is.
I think it's a simile.
He's just throwing out words that he remembers from language.
Yeah, that's exactly what I'm doing. I'm just throwing out
I'm not going to
words.
say yes or no until you give me your final answer.
It's not a verb and it's not a noun. I know that for a fact. And it's not. I mean, it could be an adjective. It's just describing another word. It's a word that is describing another word that is describing a word. I'm going to go final answer, adjective.
It's an adverb.
What the fuck? I thought an adverb was like it had to describe a verb. Is that wrong? Am I making a fool of myself right now?
Probably. I think you're going to lose a couple subscribers on that.
Yikes.
What is...
Yeah, someone look up what or I don't know why I'm saying someone as if there's more
Chat,
than
look it up. Look it up, chat. Look it up, chat.
Look it up.
A word or phrase that modifies or qualifies an adjective, verb, or any other
No, dude.
adverb or word
My
group.
thought process was right. I was right in saying it describes an adjective. Damn. Well, okay. I am not smarter than a fifth grader. I think you only missed one question out of all the ones I asked you. Yeah, okay, I give it up to you. Congratulations. I blame it on the fact that I'm 2 more years out of school than you. That's what I'm going to blame it on.
We went to grad school together.
Yeah, you're right. At the same time. But that's still what I'm going to blame it on. Well, oh man, the sun is giving me a crazy light. Anyway, thank you guys for watching this episode of the Rome's Room Podcast, episode number 6. If you guys enjoyed this episode, make sure to subscribe to the channel, like the video, notifications on, comment, share with your friends, do all the good stuff. You can catch us on Apple, Spotify, CastBox, and right here on YouTube. I'm your host, Jerome. Matt, do you have anything you want to plug?
No, not really.
Okay.
Everything you said, like, subscribe, do the whole YouTube thing.
Yeah. Thanks for watching this video, and we'll catch you guys next time. Bye.
Rome's Room!